Hello kids, today I'm going to start a new story, The Happy Prince, written by Ruskin Bond. High above the city, on a tall column, stood the statue of the Happy Prince. He was gilded all over with thin lips of fine gold. For eyes he had two bright sapphires, and a large red ruby glowed on his sword hilt. It is the story of a prince who was happy indeed when he was alive. But at present he is dead, and his statue stood on the high column in the middle of the city. The whole statue was covered by thin lips of gold, and it has gems like ruby and sapphires. One night there flew over the city a little swallow. His friends had gone away to Egypt 6 weeks before, but he had stayed behind. Then he decided to go to Egypt too. The swallows are the migratory bird. During the winter season, these birds migrate from one country to another. This is also migrating towards Egypt. But all the friends of this swallow have gone away, and they reached Egypt. But this one left behind alone. All day long he flew, and at night time he arrived at the city. During daytime, this swallow flew as much as he can, but at night he had to take rest. Where shall I put up? He said. I hope the town has made preparations. The swallow is now tired, and he wished to take rest. So he thought himself that where should he spend his night and sleep for a while. Then he saw the statue of the tall column, the Happy Prince. After some time, he can see the statue which was standing on the high column in the middle of the city. I will put up there, he cried. It is a fine position with plenty of fresh air. So he alighted just between the feet of the Happy Prince. The swallow thought that it is the better place for him to spend this night. So he flew and sat down among the feet of the Happy Prince. I have a golden bedroom, he said softly to himself as he looked round, and he prepared to go to sleep. But just as he was putting his head under his wing, a large drop of water fell on him. While the swallow looked up, then he found the statue was wholly covered with golden lips, and he was delighted. He thought, I have a gold room to sleep, and he was preparing for his sleep. Just then a drop of water fell upon him. What a curious thing, he cried. He said, there is no cloud. How the water drop fell on me? There is not a single cloud in the sky. The stars are quite clear and bright, and yet it is raining. The another drop fell. Just he was thinking about the drop of water. The second drop again fell on him. What is the use of a statue if it cannot keep the rain off? He said. Now he is curious from where the raindrops are falling on him. Then the utility of the statue is nothing, because it cannot protect the swallow from the raindrop. I must look for a good chimney pot. And he determined to fly away. If this is not the safe place, then I have to go to another place. So he thought, now I have to fly towards another chimney pot. But before he had opened his wings, a third drop fell, and he looked up and saw, what did he see? Just he was preparing to fly away, the third drop of water fell on him. Now he looked up. What is it? The eyes of the happy prince were filled with tears, and tears were running down his golden cheeks. What he found? The statue, the golden prince, the happy prince. The tears are coming from his eyes and through the golden cheeks. His face was so beautiful in the moonlight that the little swallow was filled with pity. In the moonlight, in the moon shining, the happy prince was looking very beautiful. But he thought there must be some sadness, so he was filled with pity. Who are you? He said. I'm the happy prince. The statue replied that he is the happy prince. Why are you weeping then? Asked the swallow. If you are happy prince, then why are you weeping? You have quite drenched me. With your tears, you have wetted me. Why are you crying? What's the problem? When I was alive and had a human heart, answered the statue, I did not know what tears were. For I lived in the palace where sorrow is not allowed to enter. My courtiers called me the happy prince, and happy indeed I was. So I lived, and so I died. And now that I am dead, they have set me up here so high that I can see the ugliness and all the miseries of my city. And though my heart is made of lead, yet I cannot choose but weep. The happy prince told his story to the swallow. According to him, when he was alive, his life was full of joy. He lived a delighted life, and he died with the delightfulness. But after his death, the courtiers made him a statue and stood on the high column. Now he can see the misery of the surrounding city. What? Is he not solid gold? Said the swallow to himself. He was too polite to make any personal remark. The swallow was thinking the statue was solid gold. But what? It is not solid gold. He was surprised. Far away, continued the statue in a low musical voice. Far away, in a little street, there is a poor house. The happy prince continued his story. He explained to the swallow that from this place, far away, there is a poor house. One of the windows is open, and through it I can see a woman seated at a table. Her face is thin and worn, and she has coarse red hands, all pricked by the needles, for she is a seamstress. She is embroidering flowers on a satin gown for the loveliest of queen's maid of honor to wear at the next court ball. The happy prince describes that far away there is a poor lady, and she is embroidering on a satin gown for the queen's maid for the royal ball. And her condition is very pitiable. Her fingers were pricked by the needle she embroidering. In a bed in the corner of the room, her little boy is lying ill. He has a fever and is asking his mother to give him oranges. The son of the lady was lying ill. He has got fever and he was asking his mother to give him oranges to eat. His mother has nothing to give him but river water, so he is crying. While the son is asking for orange, his mother is very poor. She is unable to provide the orange, so she is giving him only river water, and the son is crying. Swallow, swallow, little swallow, will you not bring her the ruby out of my sword hilt? My feet are fastened to this pedestal, and I cannot move. Little swallow, will you take out a ruby from my sword and give it to the poor lady so that she can buy the oranges and other fruits for her son? I am unable to go there because my feet are tied with the column and I'm unable to move. I'm waited for in Egypt, said the swallow. My friends are flying up and down the Nile and talking to the large lotus flower. Soon they will go to sleep. But the swallow replied that he has to fly towards Egypt, and his friends were flying up and down through the Nile River, and they were talking to the lotus flower, and they will sleep at night. So he has to rush towards them. The prince asked the swallow to stay with him for one night and be his messenger. The boy is so thirsty and the mother so sad, he said. The happy prince requests the swallow that mother is very poor and the boy is thirsty, is asking for orange. Please be my messenger and give the ruby to the poor lady. I don't think I like boys, answered the swallow. I want to go to Egypt. Swallow was rigid in his decision. He said, I don't like boys, so I want to go to the Egypt. I will not go to that poor lady. But the happy prince looked so sad that the little swallow was sorry. With these words, the happy prince became very sad, and it melted the heart of the swallow. Oh, sorry, it is very cold here, he said. But he agreed to stay with him for one night and be his messenger. After this, the swallow agreed to stay with the happy prince for one more night and go to the poor lady as his messenger. Thank you, little swallow, said the prince. Hearing this, the prince thanked the little swallow and he was happy and happy prince. Thank you all. Bye bye.